Hey, what's up, everybody? Just making sure everything's working okay. Make sure you say hi when you get in here so we can all chat. Feel free to help each other out if you have questions. And I'm just going to be presenting. This is live. And yeah, so I will probably chat with you at the end shortly. But this is an informational video about abandoned houses in Italy. So today we're talking about abandoned property. First of all, hi Violetta and Smako. I think that's how you say your name. Thanks for joining us early and saying hi early. Um, though I suppose that typically the subject on this channel is usually abandoned property. We're specifically talking about abandoned property. And as you can see in the title, what happens to it, right? We just usually talk about it with a different name. Specifically, we're talking about what can happen to an abandoned property in Italy over time. I'll be referencing some laws, but understand I'm certainly no lawyer. I did watch a few videos lawyers have done, things like that. So it's a bit of pretty basic research. I do encourage you to do your own. You can check the articles I'm referencing in the description. Thanks for saying hi, everyone. If there's any problem with the audio, please let me know. I'll try to glance over every once in a while. At the end of this video, we'll be doing our weekly giveaway. So this is kind of like the setup. We'll present something and then we'll do the weekly giveaway afterwards. And there will be 2 raffle tickets to have the opportunity to win a house in Italy. And if I remember right, I actually can show you. Yeah, so there's 1 and then 2. Those are bad pictures to show, but you can basically, if you want to see better pictures, there's links in the descriptions to that as well. Okay, well, that threw me off track a little bit, but that's okay. We will be doing that at the end, so make sure to stick around to see who wins. I have to say big thank you to everyone that did put your emails in the link that I sent. There's basically a link in the description. Anyway, I'll explain in a minute. Last week's winners should have received their tickets by now and are happily awaiting the drawing, which will be held at an event in, I think, San Francisco at some time in the future. There's no requirement to win, really, but if I don't have an email for you, I can't send you the ticket. So first, subscribe to the channel and then click the link in the weekly giveaway newsletter to have a chance to win a house in either Rome or Calabria. Okay, and who knows how many opportunities will come in the future. We're going to keep this kind of a regular thing. Let's get to the content of today. It's already been a few minutes. The subject was actually inspired by an article I was sent recently, and I can actually share that with you as well. As always, it was CNN. I was sent recently by a Patreon member. Apparently CNN had written this article and it kind of went past my radar, but apparently not everybody's happy with the events, and you can go check that out on your own time if you haven't seen it. But it was titled "Why Not Everybody's Happy with Italy's €1 Home Bonanza." It describes a situation where a living descendant of an Italian homeowner in Castrupignano, one of our €1 home communities, they heard about the houses being offered on the €1 home program and reached out to understand if her grandmother's home was included in the €1 home program in an attempt to rescue the property. You can read the details using the link in the description as well, but we won't be dwelling on it that much. But it got me thinking, how safe is it really to purchase real estate here in Italy, especially as a foreigner? I remember after my wife and I bought our first property, neither of us were Italian citizens. A few months later, I found my wife filing for citizenship. She could at that time. And at that time, she made the remark that now that she has a house here, she wanted a guarantee she'd always be able to access it. Now, the idea that one day we could leave the country maybe for a period of time and then not be allowed to enter again to access our home seemed absurd to me at the time. I thought, what fear does that decision stem off of, really? But surely the world would never reach a point where Italy would be off limits, right? That was in 2015. Now look where we are. in the world. And I laugh about it, but it's really no joking matter. I know there are many of you that watch this channel that are looking to buy real estate in this period and haven't been able to travel. Today, my thoughts actually go out to those of you that have already purchased a home away from home. Many of you haven't been able to access your investment during 2020 and 2021 so far. Maybe there was a slight short period which you could, but just not being able to access it, I can only pretend to imagine how it must feel. But now my wife's wisdom 6 years ago is ringing true. Personally, I don't have citizenship here. I rely on hers. I expect we'll be together forever, and so I have no problem with that. But I know some of you will have different perspectives on this matter. What this really means to me is that it's important to understand the laws of the land in which we live, work, and invest. Remaining ignorant does you more harm than good, actually. With those thoughts in mind, I'd like to discuss what happens to Italian property when it has been abandoned for long periods of time. Most likely won't be the case for many of you, but it's connected basically with that article, and it could occur. This is an occurrence that happens for many reasons. Let's consider a few scenarios. Thanks for saying hi, everybody. Keep it up. First of all, when someone passes away, Italian law stipulates that the land passes to the children. Well, what happens to property if there's no one to inherit it? Does that mean it's considered res nullius? Now, that's a word I learned today, or in researching in this subject. In other words, the property of no one. Is it really considered that? For a period under Roman law, property considered res nullius could be claimed by whoever was in possession of it, if I'm not mistaken. Italian law has since then established a law best explained like this. Italian property is never without an owner. What this means in the case of our current scenario that we're talking about is that when a property owner passes, it's immediately passed to the control of the state, the government. No longer can Italian real estate be termed as res nullius, from what I understand. Okay, so what if the owner with living descendants passes away? The descendants first and foremost have the choice to accept the inheritance or not. If the descendants happen to be living in the property at the time of death, I believe it passes to them immediately unless otherwise specified. There's kind of a 3 or 4 month time frame for things to occur. But so what if no one claims rights over the property? And this could occur by choice or by the inability to get into contact with the next of kin. This would happen more often in the case where the children or grandchildren no longer live in Italy and have made their life elsewhere. For my research, I found that descendants have a 10-year period in which they must accept the inheritance. This can be shorter in cases where there are liens against the property that would kind of push it forward. But why is it so hard to find the next of kin anyway? Now, as we've spoken about in previous videos about why one-year home communities are abandoned, some families emigrated to new countries generations ago. Others have transferred to the bigger cities in search of work. Frankly, we all live our lives and often don't foresee these difficulties as we move from one house to another. This just increases the difficulty in tracking down an heir immensely. So though it might look abandoned, it's possible that the state owns it and hasn't given it new life. Some abandoned properties do have private owners. These are those who inherited the property but couldn't or have chosen not to invest into maintaining it, just leaving it there until a future day. It makes sense. No matter the reason, there is a certainty where negligence will lead. All houses need timely maintenance, even more so those built centuries ago. In time, nature will have its way and walls will begin to crumble. If, like most Italian homes, it is located in highly populated areas, this could lead to injuries to others. Here, the state steps in again. In 2016, a law was passed called Auto Recupero Urbano, basically to recuperate automatically the urban areas. This allowed communities to claim property through legal process in an attempt to take abandoned properties, renovate them, and provide them as low-cost housing solutions to those in need. The idea was they would pay like 100 euros per month to the previous owner and then provide it as housing. Cities like Rome, which have both large numbers of abandoned properties and large numbers of homeless people, could kill two birds with one stone, as we say. As you can see, even after inheriting a property, there are ways for the Italian government to take possession of it. I don't want to scare you. I don't want to scare anyone. I'm just suggesting you learn the ways that the laws can affect you. We're talking abandoned properties. A lot of you are at the beginning stages, but in generations, a lot of you want to keep this for generations. Make sure you know what could happen. There are some articles linked below, like I mentioned, if anyone would like to read more about them, but basically there are multiple ways in which abandoned properties can end up in the hands of the state. These €1 home communities, as seen in the CNN article referenced before, use the legal process to revitalize their communities, much of the time providing the owners a happy release. Now, I do want to point out that though it sounds like a big hairy mess, the article, the CNN one, clearly states that the mayor of Castropignano is happily complying with the request made by this woman to retain her property, though it took like 8 months to get a response, and that was, of course, frustrating for her. She and others are frustrated and think it's not fair that the government could give away family property without notice, though we've already pointed out tracking down heirs is the work of a private investigator sometimes. My question to you watching this video is, what is less fair? Losing property to the state in an attempt to revitalize the community, a property that was ignored for decades, or entire neighborhoods and communities decaying due to a large number of either irresponsible or uninterested parties that hold ownership? How many years have these houses been in the state of decay? How many more years must we wait for someone to care? Now, who's truly wrong? Who's in the wrong, I guess I should say. I don't know the parties, and I have nothing against their decisions personally. There are surely two sides to every story, but I propose this as a wake-up call to anyone who thinks they own property or will inherit property in the future. Don't neglect it. If you can't afford to maintain it, sell it, even at a loss if you have to. The people in these communities deserve better. I'm not saying that I think it's right for the state to take property away. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm really not pro-large government, but anyway, we're not talking politics here. It shouldn't have to come to the point where the community seizes property in order to preserve the right of health and happiness of those who live there. Owning real estate is a great responsibility since the choices we make about our properties impact the liberties of those around us. And that's really what matters, is the liberty of everyone. Enough of the seriousness. I'd like to know what you guys think on the subject. I know this could potentially offend some people, and that's not the intention. It's just to get the thing started rolling, to get a topic that is, decades kind of neglected out in the open. I know this it gets heated since we're talking about the participation of the government. I encourage you to keep calm and know ahead of time that YouTube comments have an auto block on explicits here on this channel. Now let's jump to something much more fun and give away some raffle tickets. Okay, so I'm sorry if it's peaking the audio all the time. Sometimes I lean in. We're going to do a raffle ticket giveaway. If you have any questions about what I shared, feel free to let me know. And I'm going to look at the chat right now. Thanks. How do we enter? Let me answer how to enter real fast. There is if you go to the description, and I have to remember exactly what it says. There's a few lines down. It says house giveaway links. And so there's a few down there, but at the very, the very first one, weekly giveaway opt-in for subscribers. Okay. You could click that and just put your name and your email, and 75 people in the last week have added their name to that list. So I'm going to pull it up right now. Not the whole list. I'm just going to show you basically the random subscriber generator portion that I made. And this is how we give it away. Davos random subscriber generator. I have two lists. I have a full list of subscribers, and then I have kind of an active list of subscribers, people that have given me for sure their email, or I have a for sure way of giving you a prize. So I'm encouraging everyone, anyone who clicks that name on that link will go into the second one. The second group actually has two chances. They're in the first group and in the second group. Anyway, so all I have to do is click this button right here real fast, get it over with, and you'll know exactly who's going to win the 2 tickets. They will be coming to you in your email. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you put your name and your opt-in. Most likely, if you are already a public subscriber, I have your name, but I might not have your email, and that's a problem for me because I don't know how to track you down. All right, so here we go. Drum roll, 3, 2, 1. There's nothing exciting about this. It's just a click. And a click that didn't work. Hey, what's going on? Oh, I'm clicking the wrong one. This one. Bam. Okay, so the first ticket goes to Vanessa Rivera. And these are basically YouTube tags. And the second ticket goes to someone named Old School Boy. Okay. Anyway, thanks everyone. Wow, speaking all the time. Thanks everyone for your participation in this video. I'm going to glance at the chat and you're welcome to take off at this point if you are tired of listening to my voice. Anyway, it's been fun and I can't see where the cancel button is so I can see. Okay, so I see Mona Lisa, Da Vinci. Why didn't they sell the property? People like to hang on to their property because property is valuable. Someday they think the market will go up. Someday they make plans. It's like owning like an old muscle car. You hide it in the garage with that plan to finish the project, you know. But real estate's just on a bigger scale. As far as what's the point of buying a house there as a no dual citizenship or no residential permit, you don't have to be a citizen to own property somewhere. In fact, Italy is so vacationed, I'm going to use that as a verb, that it doesn't make sense, honestly, to always come here. Maybe if you come here every year to go and spend money on hotels, when you could just buy a place and stay in your place and use it as a hub to travel Europe. That's one of the greatest reasons, in my opinion. You could rent it out, make passive income potentially. So I think that answers that pretty well. Yeah, I could get dual citizenship right now if I wanted to. I haven't felt the desire right now. There's no need for me to do it. So the draw is, it kind of depends. There are two draws. So typically they give themselves a year to collect, to do the raffle ticket giveaway thing. But if they get a certain number of raffle tickets, I don't know how it works, honestly, but it'll be within the year. Okay. They should be given a chance, but the government have more pressing issues. Potential heirs should be proactive in finding out there. Yeah. Thanks, Regina, for adding that thought. The idea of just neglecting property, it kind of bothers me. I've been in situations where I couldn't afford to maintain property, so I was forced to sell my property. There are situations, and I don't, if there are Italians watching this that hold property that don't want to put money into it, I understand that it doesn't make sense to you because newer construction, you're waiting for your property to increase in value, whatever it is. I get it. But these communities are suffering. I have to address, there was a comment on my channel the other day. It's kind of related, kind of not. It was this. Why I'm fascinated that this was an Italian speaking. I'm fascinated that foreigners are fascinated, or I'm impressed. I'm happy that people are fascinated with my country. But do you really want your kids to grow up in a country with no future? My personality, I hear you, but I don't agree with you, right? Thanks for watching the channel and commenting, but that whole perspective is really what's hurting us right now. And the idea that there is no future for Italy is dangerous. We have the power to change the future, not Italy itself. So that I do not agree with that statement. And if you made it, we can talk about it in detail. In my opinion, just because Italy might not have, the second thing is just because Italy doesn't have a future doesn't mean my kids don't have a future. Okay. My kids can create whatever they want, however they want it. Whatever they believe in, I'm sure they can accomplish. And so that's my take on life. I know it doesn't agree with everybody, but I think it's important to understand that people that are desiring this kind of change of lifestyle usually are willing to take action and make life better for themselves, for people around them. So thanks for everybody watching this. Oh my goodness, you're right. You cannot see me. Here I am. So those are the names. Sometimes running your own studio Thanks for saying you couldn't see me, Maddie. Anyway, uh, off of my soapbox for a minute. Thanks for checking out this channel. If you're waiting on consulate appointment for citizen, I suggest you check their appointment database. Cool. Thanks for helping out, Manhattan. I'm gonna call it quits, and thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.